Hello and welcome to another video here on Powerdojo. In this video, we're going to talk about a feature called conditional formatting. Now, what does conditional formatting lets you do? Just imagine you have a visual such as this one, a table visual in which we have two columns, player name and the international goals that they have scored. I have sorted this visual as per the player name, so they are not in order. If we look at the international goals, at the bottom we have a subtotal of all the goals, which is 447. Just don't look much into this visual. It's just for our demonstration purposes. Now, when we look at this visual, it's okay. It's summarizing the top four international footballers who have scored the most goals at the international level. But that's it. How we can compare? If is there any visual aid that can help us in identifying the difference between the number of goals that they have scored. So conditional formatting lets you do that. It provides you with visual cues or visual aids that you can add in your Power BI visual. Just to let you know, conditional formatting is available for table visuals and matrix visuals. What we have on screen is the table visual, or the formatting that you can see over here is what we have applied to the visual generically. So the column names which have a yellow background, the rows which have a gray background, and the total which has a pink background, this is under the generic formatting of the visual. Once when we do conditional formatting, it will override this generic formatting. Let me demonstrate to you how we can do that. So in order to use this feature of conditional formatting, we'll click on this table visual, and then in the visualization tab, we choose formatting. In the left tab of visual, you will see at the bottom a feature called cell elements. If we can develop this, you'll see you have these settings which appear. So now the conditional formatting that we're going to apply to our visual, we are going to use or apply settings to one of the fields, either player name or international goals. So over here, it lets you choose on which series or which fields that you want to apply the conditional formatting. In our case, I'm going to choose international goals. Now, there are five types of conditional formatting that you can see on screen over here. I'm going to show you how to use them one by one. First of all, we have background color. In order to use it, we need to first of all toggle this option to on. Here you will see that the background color has changed as per the number of goals. So Cristiano Ronaldo has a darker blue background color, whereas Sunil Chetri has a light blue color. So this provides a kind of a visual aid to the user in order to identify which player has most goals among the four. In order to change the settings of this background color, you can click on this FX function option. This window will pop up. So as we saw on the visual, we have this gradient in place where the minimum value is identified by this shade of blue and the highest identified this shade of blue, which is much darker than that of the minimum value. But before we have a look at this, let's have a look at what other options that we have over here. Firstly, we have format style. So the format style that we saw is gradient. So change in color that we see as per the value. We can also apply rules in which we have this if condition, and we can also add several if conditions if needed. We also have field value, so it lets you choose what field should we base this on, where we can make a selection of the field from the available tables that we have. For the background color, we're going to go back to gradient. Over here, we have another option of apply to. So the rows that were in gray were values, and at the bottom, if you remember, we had a subtotal. So you can apply these background color conditional formatting on either values, on both values and totals, or only on totals. The third option is what field should we base this on. So once again, we'll choose over here international goals, and over here we also have an option to choose the summarization. This field value is what should we apply, what should we format empty values. This value over here is how should we format the empty values. So either we can format them as 0, we shouldn't format, or choose a specific color. So this lets you do that. Now for the minimum and highest value, we can either keep the setting to as it is or customize it. So for instance, if I want to put in, let's say 80 as a minimum, let's choose 140 as the highest. You can do that as well. I'll go back to lowest value again. You also have an option to add a middle color. So what happens if I add a middle color? It will let you choose a different color or whichever color you wish to have in the middle of the spectrum of this gradient of color. Since we only have 4 rows, rather than misleading the user, we'll keep it to minimum and maximum alone. So I'll uncheck this box and I will click on OK. So as you see, we have this conditional formatting of background color in place. Now, an interesting thing about conditional formatting is you can either use these conditional formatting individually or you can use them in combination. For instance, if I want to activate font color and background color, I can choose toggle this to on. Right now we don't see any numbers because it has blended in with the background color. So I will turn the background color to off and let's have a look at the font color this time. So similar to background color, font color lets you do conditional formatting on the numbers that are written in those columns. For demonstration purposes, we'll change from blue to, let's say, gray. So I'll choose this as the lowest value and this as the maximum value. So now what you see over here, if I use it in combination with background color, we'll see all the 4 numbers. So these were the first 2 conditional formatting options that we have. You're going to have a look at the next one, which is data bars. I'm going to switch off background color and font color and toggle the data bars option to on. So over here, you'll see that now we have a visual comparison between the number of goals that all these 4 players have scored. So for Cristiano Ronaldo, the data bar is at the highest. Messi is slightly lower at 112. Sunil Chetri at the bottom, and we have Ali Dai at 108. If I have to click on the function option again, we have these options that pop up. Over here, we have the format style. We are going to choose data bars. Once again, we can apply this formatting to values and totals, or totals only. We also have a bar direction from left to right or right to left. In our case, we'll keep it as left to right. And over here, we have an option to choose either the lowest value or customize it. In our case, we want to customize the maximum value. So let's say we'll keep it at 150 and click on OK. So you'll see now the data bar for Cristiano Ronaldo has receded a bit, which is much better. So this was the data bars conditional formatting. Once again, you can use this in unison as per your choices that you make. I'm going to switch all of this to off now and move on to the next, which is icons. So once again, icons, if I were to turn this on, you'll see these icons pop up. So once again, it's another kind of a visual aid that can help you to, let's say, categorize where these players belong on, let's say, the range of international goals scored by footballers at the international level. We'll choose conditional formatting. Let's have a look at all the fields over here. Format style is rules or field value. So if I had to choose field value, once again, you need to choose the field and you can choose the arrangement or the layout of where you want the icon to be. Let's switch back to rules. You also have an option to apply to the values and totals, or totals only. Once again, it's asking us what field should we base this on. Once again, we're going to choose the international goals. We'll keep the icon at the left side, and you have several options of what kind of style that you want to choose for your icons. Now, talking about rules, we can change, let's say, from percentage over here to number. So what I'm going to do is change all of these to number, and I'm going to put in different set of numbers over here. So let's say we'll have the maximum at 150, keep this at 120, which is like the highest range. Keep this at 120, 100 over here, and I'll keep this at 100. So this way we can categorize the 4 players in question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose, let's say, different icons. So for instance, for footballers who have scored less than 100 goals, I'll keep no icon. For footballers who have scored between 100 and 120, I will keep, let's say, this empty pie chart. And the players who have scored more than 120, which is only one in our case, Cristiano Ronaldo, will have a green filled circle. So I have to click on OK. You see now the icons have changed. So now you can easily identify which players have scored more than 100, which players have scored more than 120, and so on. And now we're going to move to the last conditional formatting feature, which is web URL. Over here, before we choose the field value, we need to change the series. I want the user to click on the player name in the visual, so it will redirect to a web page. So for that, I need to change the series, apply settings to the player name. I just want to show you the data set over here. We already have a column in place which has the web page of that particular player. For instance, it will redirect us to Cristiano Ronaldo's Wikipedia page. So in order to do that, I'll click on conditional formatting over here, field value, keep it to values only. And what field should we base this on? We'll choose website over here. We'll click on OK. Now you'll see all the players have, let's say, a kind of an hyperlink attached to their names. So if I want to choose, let's say, Lionel Messi, I click on it. A web page has popped up on my other screen like this. So these were the 5 conditional formatting features that I wanted to speak with you about during our demonstration. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video.